Hey, is minimalism just a phase or something more long-term for you? First question you should ask yourself is, what is the purpose of your whole minimalism thing? Is it just to clean up and start over because you kind of have a completely cluttered life, cluttered room? Or is it more about making a drastic change for yourself to become a little bit of a different person, or to, I don't know how to say this, better yourself? Because I don't like the term self-improvement. I will get into that later. However, you have to find out whether or not this is something you're doing because you want to get to a different state of mind, or just your apartment looking differently. Minimalism is not the same as decluttering. Decluttering is about getting rid of the things that you don't need. Of course, you can declutter to the point that you are technically a minimalist because you own so few things that you are basically existing on essentials. And that is a form of minimalism. But you can also use decluttering just to get rid of a mess. So what is it? And then for many people, it's also kind of a transition phase because they find they want to try something extreme, but then they just take something out of it for the rest of their life, but they decide not to practice it for the rest of their life because it costs them energy to maintain that level of minimalism. I was in this kind of on a run mindset for a while in my life. I just liked being able to get out of a situation as fast as I want. So being able to move quickly was very important to me. It's maybe because I've lived in a lot of shitty apartments that, when something broke again, water didn't work, that kind of stuff, I was able to just pack up my things, leave that place and say like, no more rent for you, dude. Okay? So I don't have that freedom anymore. If I want to leave, I got to pack up my washing machine, and that sucks. But so does going to a laundromat. Also, if I were to leave in a hurry, I think my washing machine would be the least of my problems. I think that was a really dumb example. I apologize. Anyway, it's all about making a drastic change, permanent or not. You can make a drastic change, learn from it, take away from it, but if you don't want to keep it because it's stressing you out, that's perfectly fine. But maybe then minimalism, or extreme minimalism especially, just isn't for you. For me, it is definitely about the minimalist lifestyle, and I'm just, how can I say this so it doesn't sound super cheesy? Like, I'm a minimalist at heart. Heart as in hardcore. I liked being extreme. I liked having less than the average person, and up to this day I still like it when people come to my place and say, oh, it's so empty, or why don't you have this, why don't you have that? To me that is really uplifting, because every time someone says that to me, I think, cool, I still got it. So if you're feeling like that, if it brings you joy to find that you own less than others, yeah, it's okay to compare yourself to others. I totally think it's fine, because you're surrounded by others. Why not compare yourself to others? Just do it in like a neutral way, and not this, I'm better than you. But having that achieved for yourself, seeing that you were where the other people were and you didn't want to be there anymore, that's a good thing. That's like leaving a country. If you don't like a country because you don't fit in, you don't like this model of life, and then you just leave and you find rest of mind somewhere else, that's a good thing. Just not this competitive comparison, okay? Anyway, it's all about making a drastic change, permanent or not. If you want to make it permanent, it means you want to be a different person, or at least you want to live a different lifestyle from most people. For me, for instance, it's always like I'm almost enjoying it when people come to my place and say, oh, this is so empty, it looks so sterile, or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, I still got it. And it gives me that weird joy to know that I've done this for such a long time and I still like it, and it's just the lifestyle. But more than that, it's about coming home, having this emptiness all for myself, and enjoying how clean and neat it looks. I never want to go back to a full apartment. It just doesn't give me any joy, because I have changed. I've changed from that person that liked a full and cozy maximalist place with a lot of plants and light bulbs and art on the wall. to this person who, no, it's not sad, likes nothing. Okay? I just enjoy having nothing on my wall. All my paintings are in this little folder, and my painting gear and art stuff is packed away where I don't see it all the time. And it's just how I like it. Second question you can ask yourself is, why do you want to be a minimalist? Is it a superficial thing, or is it something kind of deep? If it is because you like design and you and all your hipster friends think that minimalism is kind of cool, then go for it. But then it's probably a phase. Because currently minimalism is really a trend. Everything is becoming more simplistic, more minimal. And in a bunch of years, that is probably gonna shift again back to some more cozy kind of style. Because now when I look at a magazine, everything is simplistic. Everything is actually like, I like it. A little bit too modern for my taste, actually. I might be a minimalist, but I still prefer some antiques and some old stuff from flea markets and so on. So if it's just about the design for you, I would say, yeah, maybe then it's just a phase. But if it's about some changes and making things better for yourself, because it gives you structure, it makes you feel better, then I would say, yeah, you are probably in it for the long run. To me, minimalism is just something that helps me relax. As I said, when I come home and I see this empty space, I just instantly feel relief. I like coming home to my place. I like having empty walls. And when I look at it, it's just instant gratification. And of course, it's also about design aspect for me. For instance, I'm a sucker for mustard yellow. I just love that color. I've always liked it. I love that it's a trend now, because now I can get everything in mustard yellow, and when it's not a trend anymore, I will still have it and enjoy it. So that is something that I like, and I like warm, earthy tones. I like this warm kind of gray, you know? It doesn't mean that just because you want to make some drastic change and have a new lifestyle that you cannot care about that side of it. I'm just saying, if that is the only thing you really care about because you just like to look at stuff, then it's maybe not such a deep need for minimalism. Whereas when you really need that structure in your life, when stuff is stressing you out, when you feel like that as you reach a certain number of things, number as in not doesn't have to be counted, but you start feeling overwhelmed and you feel like your personality falls behind all these things. If you feel like that, I would say that you are into minimalism rather as a lifestyle than as a trend. Last question would be how important it is to you what other people think. Because when you change your lifestyle, especially if you're going into extreme minimalism, people are gonna comment on it. And maybe your partner or the people you're living with think that it's stupid or that you need this and that, and they try to bring stuff into your life. That is what happened to me with my family. They just constantly kept bringing me stuff saying, you need this, you need a stove, you need a butter dish, that kind of stuff. And I'm like, no, I just put it on the plate, that's fine. I don't really care, I just eat it out of the box. Why do I need a butter dish? If you're a minimalist, you know exactly what I mean. So again, it comes down to what you need for yourself, what you want to change in your life. And if you care a lot about other people's opinions, you might have to work on that first. And for me, it's also important that my husband understands what I'm doing and why I'm doing it, and that minimalism is something important to me. We have something called boundaries, which is the thing that you have when you do something for yourself and the other does something for themselves, and it's not bothering, you're not bothering each other. So it's not bothering me that he has all his junk in this room right behind me, and it's not bothering him that I got no junk in this room right here. On the other hand, of course, I enjoy it when he tries to declutter a few things and invite some minimalism into his life. Like, I would be the last person to say like, no, don't do that. Just stay messy. What I'm trying to say is, in the end, you are doing this for yourself, and what other people do shouldn't have an impact on it. And what this whole society does should not be important for that decision. If you want to make a change in your life, if you want to own nothing but what fits in a backpack, cool, do it. Last but not least, and fitting right into that, I want to say that I really don't like it when minimalism gets cultish. As in, if there is some moral superiority in it, good and bad, right and wrong, you cannot apply that to minimalism. You're not a better person because you're a minimalist. There is no right or wrong, even though the minimalism police on social media kind of thinks there is. Yeah, no. It's not about being better than others, enhancing yourself, being enlightened. It should be about improving your situation in life. And I am not saying improving yourself because I don't like that term. You're a person, not a project. Changing your daily routines will essentially change you as a person. But I find it so much more helpful to think of it as in changing these things that you do than changing your personality. Just think about it. Because if you say, I want to change myself, I want to change, rather than I want to change what I'm doing on a daily basis, I want to do this and that differently, doesn't that sound totally odd? To me it does. I think it sounds a lot better to say, I want to change this and that, what I'm doing. And it's also more hands-on and practical, and it gives you something to think about rather than theoreticizing this whole process and your personality and whatnot. Yeah, that's it.